And we are streaming. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 6 of our little F1 Manager 22 attempt with the Haas team. Basically, the game plan is still the same. We are making Mick Schumacher, in some way, shape or form, the world champion. That is our only real objective. In terms of our actual team objectives, we're currently doing reasonably well. After Monaco, we are right behind Alpine and Alpha. And our goal... Our secondary objective, obviously top 6 is important. I think we're actually safe to AlphaTauri here, but we want to be beating these three teams above us because we've done it in small ways at various points. Just needs to be more consistent. So we head to Baku, which is a weird circuit in a lot of ways. It is ultra high speed, but it's a street circuit and has all of the trappings of that. What it does mean is, if we actually look at it, it might actually suit us more than I thought it was going to. Because while we don't have the straight line speed, every corner is a slow speed corner, which actually helps us out a great deal. So we might be faster around here than you might expect. Not sure how this is going to go, but yeah. We'll just give it a minute or so, just so I can adjust. And... okie dokie. So in terms of performance targets, I actually hadn't set these, so good thing I remembered to do that. We are going to, again, aim for both drivers in the top 12. I'm hoping that actually we aren't going to be that bad off this weekend, so we'll be optimistic. I think we can get both drivers into Q2 if nothing else. Not likely to get fastest lap. And obviously we're still in our qualifying and finishing streak things which are in sync, so we still have to get both our drivers ideally into the top 12. Okay. To the race weekend and the spinning dots that is basically practice.
Hello from Baku.
Okay, dry all around. So as is normal, we will go and adjust things here. We will go back to our worn stuff for the moment. Largely because we can. It might be we break down in practice, but you know, that's fine. We are going to swap this back out for the race, so hards. Swap back to our damaged stuff. It's more about just keeping the good engines for when we actually have a decent chance of some points, which actually might be today, but hey. I mean, that gearbox is absolutely critical, actually, so let's unfortunately go to our second reserve gearbox. Run plan, increase to 22 laps, increase to 22 laps, and setup then. So... presumably, this is kind of anti-Monaco. It's a weird mix of things here. We obviously need the slow speed stuff, but top speed ultimately is probably what's going to matter at some point. Yeah, we'll give that a go. Driving options, all good. We're actually going to lower this down. I've actually been testing with my alpha plate, and it actually makes no difference here. So just lowering the pace means they're not going to crash as often. And, you know, that's exactly what we kind of want here. So again, low. Maybe this is the wrong way around to do it. Was I higher with Schumacher? Can't remember. I'm almost certain that's not how I set up Schumacher, but hey, we'll go with this. And again, pace down to normal. Again, it's all about just being roughly central so we have room either side to do adjustments.
Radio's good.
Okay, and let the dots spin. What are some proper flying laps of this once we're actually into qualifying, most likely? But yeah, we lose nothing for going on a casual pace around it. Everything seemed to be roughly in line with how it would be on full pace, so no reason to risk. No reason to risk things ultimately. It just means that our times are going to be comparatively worse on the practice sessions, but we don't care about that. Not really. Guess it takes slightly longer for the session to go, but yeah. But anyway, this is all just about the setup for the moment anyway. Yeah, makes you like not able.
How's the balance?
Okay, Magnussen's reasonably happy with that. We'll call him in, get that changed, and Schumacher as well.
How is the balance?
76.
That feels really good. Yep, understood.
So the only thing we're missing out really is traction. So let's go click that a couple of times that direction. Ultimately, that might be all we need to do, at least for a testing purpose at the moment. So we'll just do that. Schumacher 89. Everything with traction. And again, I think we'll just do a click or two here. And obviously we want to get that back into the optimal window, but we can adjust this a little bit. Nope. We'll try that. Still, not bad initial runs at this point. No new parts on the car because those are coming next weekend, hopefully. 7 days. We should have both a new front wing and chassis, actually. No, Schumacher's set up already into the high scoring things. I might actually just between sessions actually. I know they have different driving preferences for each of them, so but it might be worth putting Schumacher's on Magnussen's if we don't get any improvement on this second run. '15th, 18th, you say? That'd be really depressing if that's actually the result, but I say this circuit doesn't seem intuitively like it would suit us, but it's lots of slow speed cornering, which we're good at. We're just not good at the high speed bits, which is everywhere. Absolute top line speed. Crash on track. Albon's out, but again, that shouldn't affect us too badly.
We've just had a crash on the track.
Yep, just keep going around the track, keep learning. There's about 5 interruptions whenever one of these happens in the session. But yeah.
Kev, how's the balance?
Alright, great. So into the 90s.
Okay, understood. How is the balance?
And also high. Okay, so both of them great after session 1 is
Yep,
pretty
understood,
good.
Nick, understood.
Getting into optimal might be a bit tricky, but hey, done what we can. Another VSC crash on track. But not that this one's going to matter because it's the end of the session anyway.
Okay, you're coming back to us now, Mick.
This is the other reason we're going sort of lowered pace, because we don't want our cars to be the ones, crashing. Especially when there's no need. Okay. That's reasonable. Obviously, that's gone opposite direction to what we wanted, so that's fine. So we will do a click there, and we will put this back to optimal position if we can, more or less. So we'll try that. Alright, medium tyre runs this time. 20 laps. And medium 20 laps. Okay, so everything except the braking stability point is optimal. And that is mostly adjusted by the toe angle, so let's go for... Yeah, honestly, we're right there. Let's go for a double click that direction. Optimal is actually about 2 or 3 little segments there, so that might actually be fine. But we can max Magnussen's car out here, which would be nice. And again, driver options down and down. So we know we've got additional pace in the tank, and we always seem to be slightly slower in practice than we are in the main races anyway, so this is all good. Hope is still top 12 for both drivers if we can manage it. And obviously, the other thing we'll have going into the next session is, of course, better engines. Because we will put our race engines back in for this one, I think. Crash on track. So that's Vettel out. So a lot of the drivers who aren't probably going to be challenging us for positions just keep losing components. Mind you, they clearly have enough because Albon's back on track. Was it Latifi? I think it was Albon.
It's a yellow on the pit straight. Cover.
Yeah, this is the one thing we have to be slightly aware of, that Mick might just have a gearbox failure at some stage. But, you know, this is why we have spares and we're using them for practice because, again, we don't want them for the race. Or we don't want to break in the race. We want them breaking in practice if they're going to. Also, long lap, 145, so we'll have to remember that come qualifying. Alright, so great. We've actually gone down a bit with that, so that's fine. So what did we just last time? We just did 2, so let's put that back there a little bit and see if that's better. So that was 2% back that way. This should be 98, you would think. Also, we're going to go on to softs and reduce a lap of runtime because we want to get a bit more of a competitive time in. Yeah, traction is still bad. Alright, revert. I don't want it to adjust too much. We're going to try that. I've changed quite a lot here, but...
How's your read on the balance and things?
But again, just trying to get into the 90s rather than currently 80s. And 89 is a good starting point anyway. If we don't improve on that, it's probably fine. We're getting most of the bonuses.
Like there's been a crash.
Ocon's out as well. Yeah, they're just losing components and parts at the moment, the drivers in front of us. Had another crash on the track as well. Alright, so...
I think that was a crash.
Oh, well, God darn it. I was determined to just lose components here. Alright, let's see what Mick can do. We haven't had a smooth lap with Mick, I don't think, because he keeps having yellow flags
We
encountered.
had a crash.
This time signs. I mean, it's probably good for us that all of our people towards the top end of the grid are starting to crash a bit. And again, we're still not really pushing, so... Oh, I wish... it's times like this. I really wish I could trust the AI to just do the practice sessions correctly, not just burn up tyres. Yeah, we're not doing 1 speed this time. I mean, to be fair, I did this during the practice session on Monaco as well, but yeah, we're not doing 1 time speed again. Not until we get back to Monaco in 22 races time. Okay, another great from Magnussen. That's a little depressing. We didn't get a optimal. What's the threshold for that anyway? 91 for Schumacher, so that's an improvement. Just didn't see what we got from Magnussen. Still, should be good enough. $97. Oh, Zottel really 98 plus? Jeez, okay.
Welcome back to what is proving to
Alright, let's go to 18 laps. Let's get, actually, probably still worth spending 20 laps to fuel in the car. 2020. Slow it down. And what can we adjust, if anything? So everything's great, though we have lost a little bit of the optimal line there. Maybe we'll just nudge this back. And that feels bad, but let's go for a little more wing. Maybe it'll matter. Yeah, so maybe that's 1 click too far. We'll go back 1 click and see what happens. Alright. Practice free.
Radio check.
Hey, we're provisionally 1 and 2, but immediately beaten. It's depressing that we're only just... Again, we are going easy on our tyres, but we're not beating the McLarens. We're only beating Leclerc because he's stuck behind Mick Schumacher at the moment, or at least was. Three seconds off the pace while going easy on soft tyres with a full fuel load. Oh, multi-car crash. But
Who's that just crashed?
plus more crashes. Yeah, I assume Perez and Joe, or... Actually, no, they're just in the garage. I have no idea. Doesn't bother us particularly, but, you know. It's a slight disruption of things. Although, that being said, we're already in now at 100% L round. We already have setups that are giving us the maximum benefits. So, that's our practice basically over. But from a personal point of view, I'd like to get this up to optimal. Tell me it's optimal. Great. Darn it. Unless it literally is 100% required for that. But I think we got a 90-something that had it last time.
Anything we can help you with?
Nope. I'm just going to let them finish their runs for the sake of it. But,
Good.
yeah, we're not going to pull them in and do anything silly with them at the moment. Okay, no need to risk engines, no need to risk gearboxes, which are failing imminently anyway. Apparently getting the warning while he's stuck in the garage doing nothing. But I guess that's the one place they can check it for definite, I suppose. Yes, the one concession about Monaco is we definitely didn't do the practices at 1 time speed as well, because that would have really killed all of us and added 3 unnecessary hours to an already long stream. Even as it is at time 16, this feels too slow. I've commented here before. And again, only because it's 3 sessions, which I know is how it is in regular Formula 1, but you can condense that into 1 for just this game and, you know, make arrangements for it. Yeah, Motorsport Manager gives you basically a 20-minute session to do basically 3 runs to try and learn the course, and it's... maybe it's not enough there, maybe it is, but again, I like it. Okay, so setup confidence isn't quite there, but I think we've got a 90 that we can put Schumacher onto. Okay, so let's revert to the highest setup. Compounds, obviously softs, and yep, that should be good. Oh, one thing to do actually. Let's go on to, yeah, let's just go full ham here. Best engine. Keep the ERS as is. I don't think that's necessarily the point of braking. And we can go back to our racing gearbox that we already kind of used. But the best engine might actually matter around here. Since all this is done is a couple laps of Monaco. Okay. All done. Let's get qualifying.
Okay, radio check again.
Magnussen straight out and Schumacher out. Right, now let's watch us get blocked. Possibly by Sainz, who's right behind Mick at the moment. I don't approve of that. Yeah, I think Sainz screwed us up a little there. Alright, so Mick's going to need another set of tyres. It's a bit depressing to use this, but I think we are going to have to set a new set on, just to be on the safe side. Max can go out again on his scrubbed set. Yeah, I feel we were a bit screwed up there. My Sainz determined to get past. Yeah, that's dodgy. We don't want to rely on that. Maybe a scrub set would be fine, but I don't want to take that risk. It's also a longer lap here, so I'm thinking, okay. So we will be the last out, if we can. Schumacher before Magnussen, just because of things. Okay. And we might as well watch Schumacher's lap, because we haven't really done a proper lap of Azerbaijan at this point. Which basically, yeah, is a lot of streets and a lot of 90-degree corners. And then this section, which is bizarre how fast they go through that in real life. Yeah, let's take the info screen down and let's see what Shimi can manage. And then the endlessly long straight. Actually, I will need the info back here. We need to... Because, of course, he probably will go faster because he was screwed up, but we might as well check it for Magnussen. So, yeah, 35.9 versus 35.6, so 3 tenths for difference. I mean, if Schumacher's only about 4 tenths slower than Magnussen, that wouldn't be the end of the world. I think he's going to be about 6, which should still get him there. So he wasn't interrupted during the second and third sector, but obviously he would have had signs for a bit of a tow, potentially. Schumacher currently P15. 41, so it's an improvement. But again, yeah, 7 tenths down, so 1.5 off the pace then, basically is what we're looking. And it's whether Zhou can get beyond Mick, I guess. That's the actual thing that matters at this point. And he can, but we reckon we're about 1.5, maybe fully down here. We'll see. I mean, not too bad, actually. He lost most of that time in the first 2 sectors. Apparently they were quite even for the last one. But that's encouraging. So, Mick can definitely make the top 10. Okay, we're going to go on scrub tyres to start with, because we don't have the option for that. We can send Magnussen on scrubs as well. Save him his second set to try and improve Q2 in Q3. Yeah, I was about to say, why did we not revert to the 91%, please? Thank you. Quali 2. Okay, slightly less chance of being interrupted because there's less cars on the road this time. Let's see what happens. And Sainz not immediately following us, so all good. We're going to have Bottas in the way, though. God darn it. During the castle section as well. Thankfully, it's our scrubbed run, but that's, yeah, same pace, 144.8. And I think the only reason they're going slower than us is because they were interrupted. That's probably a true reflection. 1.5 off. Well, this is why we have fresh tyres. Why we are going at the end. Okay, should have plenty of time to make that round, and then it's just a case of what can we do on this last one. So, we are currently both in the top 10, but will that last? Actually, yes. But Magnussen going up to 5th fastest, so that's back to kind of where we have been. Just, this is our Monaco, basically, pace at this point, 5th and 9th. And both cars into Q3. Perez also has a penalty to Light, so he's going backwards on the grid from the starting point. So we could be starting 4th, which would be good. So Mick only has 1 set of new tyres, but mind you, we're kind of at the point of... Yeah, given how often we keep getting interrupted, absolutely, our first runs can be on useless tyres. And again, it keeps... Get to that 91, please. Thank you. Alright, Magnussen out. 1, 2,
Richard
3. Schumacher out.
Radio's good.
And we got Ocon right behind us, but Ocon's not going to be fast enough to overtake Mick, so we'll see. Yeah, there we go. Perez right in the way. Hopefully he got out of the way for Mick, and that's not going to interrupt the race too much, but 6-10. 9 tenths off. I think I did interrupt him a little bit, but we're still 5th after the first run. And head Ocon, who probably had a harder time overtaking it, as it turns out. Okay, here we go. Final run, where are we going to end up? 5th and 9th would be fine. Because, of course, Perez is going back somewhat, so hopefully that's going to be 4th and 8th. Depending on whether he's going back 3, 5, or 10 positions. Because it didn't tell me that. And it might have done, I just hadn't clicked in the right place, but... Alright, Magnussen's slower in Sector 1, faster in Sector 2. And 5th and 9th. Okay, absolutely fine.
Tension continues to build here.
So we have a shot at this race, really, in terms of some good points. Does it tell me what his grid penalty actually is, or is that just a indicator he's got one? It's an indicator he's got one. Okay, so do you think we can make a position gain up each? Seems optimistic in truth, because Perez is going to be ahead of us at some point during the race. And we show we have no pace to really stop that, so I don't think we can afford to gamble on this one. So I don't think it's going to work. Alright, strategy then. So what's the typical strategy here, actually, come to that? Reports. Pre-race. So everybody else is going to be doing a one-stop, soft or medium onto hard, which makes sense. We're probably then going to do soft hard for both drivers, I think, in truth, and just having one of them go a little bit harder on his tyres. Probably Magnussen. Okay. Let's go make a soft medium work, actually. That would be interesting. So that's our optimal one. So yeah, soft hard. So no real pushing here, but this is just a case of we are going on softs. We are going to have Magnussen come in a lap earlier than Schumacher. Go on to hard tyres, go to the end. There should be some incidents around this track. There usually are. We'll take a lap of fuel out of the car for both cases. And obviously, for the start, can't afford to do anything crazy, but we can put some overtake in. Alright, here we go. So Azerbaijan at times 2 speed. Plus when dull bits happen, we will, of course, go faster than this. So starting 4th.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
Perez starting 6th, so he only dropped 3 positions. I was wondering. That, however, looks like a good move by Mick, up to 7th. If you can hold that off, don't let the Mercedes round you. In fact, go full deploy here. We need those positions. Yes. Okay. So Mick's gained a couple of places at the start. That should...
An excellent move by Haas to gain a few places.
Yep, that's a pretty good start. Not going to argue with that. All right. Go to neutral and... yeah, let's keep on with it as it is. So Magnussen is on the back of Sainz, and I think that's where we want to be. So, because if we can, Sainz is going to be faster than us. If we stick with Sainz, that's going to massively help us. Just stay away from Bottas, I think, is our plan. Schumacher as well, start deploying as well. See if we can actually stick with Perez for the same reason. Need a little bit more, but we're not at the DRS points yet, and they're fighting. And Bottas will be slower, but hopefully slow enough that Mick can stay with it. All right, within a second, so that's good. Magnussen's within a second as well. DRS assistance all the way down the main straight, and that's the important bit that's going to come up very soon. So what tyres are people on? A lot of people on softs. The front three are on mediums.
Enabled.
Alright, neutral for both. Okay. Let's speed things along a little bit and just see how's it... Oh, wow, we got past.
Haas with an overtake there.
Okay, so Schumacher overtaking Bottas, which is fine. That's what we want. And also, apparently, Magnussen's decided, I want a podium today. Let's keep this going. We're on soft tyres, so our tyres should be better than everybody else's. The downside is, Magnussen now does not have DRS to Leclerc. So, Sainz is going to get past on this main straight. Perez is probably going to get past as well. But again, those are probably not for cars we're actually racing in terms of things here. Weirdly, we're racing Mick Schumacher and Bottas. Well, slow speed cornering means that we should be good at holding him off a little bit here. We'll see. Nope. There we go. Job done. Second DRS straight. And, oh wow. Yeah, Sainz just gone clear. Alright, so we're 5th and 6th. This is probably fine in terms of where we actually are on pace. So, this is all good. Mick, unfortunately, has Bottas right behind him. And this is back to Monaco again, where this was basically the entirety of the race. Alright, conserve. Save some petrol. See if we can mitigate things. Bottas is going to get ahead of us on this straight, so the rough plan here is to let him and then stick with him. Or just, you know, be just fast enough to stay ahead of him and use our slow speed cornering to gain some advantages. Second DRS straight. There he goes. And now we're going to have to stay behind him and overtake him back on the next one. Magnussen's staying with Perez, though, so that's helping. Do you not want Bottas to chase and catch up to us? Okay. Could have lurked while I worked on things. Yes, indeed you could have. Remember bread, sir. By the way, bread. Bombs, removal, efficiency, aggro, dross. In that order. I mean, considering this isn't a circuit I thought was going to suit us, yes. Schumacher is within DRS of Bottas, so as long as he doesn't lose him, that should help us. Someone's had an incident. But nothing major, and it's immediately gone. And, yep, straight past. So DRS is quite good on that third straight. It's all about bread, sir. All about bread. Although, of course, identifying bombs is sometimes difficult, and obviously bombs in some decks are not bombs in other decks. But, again... That's the usual thought process on this one. Also, Mick is gaining on Magnussen here a little bit. Which I'm not sure is what we want. I mean, I had options, but the options aren't better, so I'm not using them just yet. But I could build Skull Servants. Yeah, they're going faster than...
Alfa Romeo just moved up a place.
Oh, Magnus is still conserving fuel, that's why. Jeez, okay. No, stop doing that. And actually start deploying, because we need to try and drag Mick with us a bit here, if we can. And apparently we cannot. How are we looking strategy-wise here? We are above target for both in terms of things. I mean, fair. Give it a go, see what happens, and yeah. I'll try and beat it. Definitely beat it in testing and then fail to beat it everywhere else.
A position gained for Alfa Romeo.
Yep, so not able to push there. We are so much quicker in the slower corners, and every corner is slow around here. So, in theory, though, it gets us in good stead. We can just stay with him and then get past him at the next opportunity. And already we are down to 0-0 again. Fuel management's going to be a little tricky for this one, I think. I mean, you say that. I've got Heavy Storm, MST, Twin Twister, just 1-1-1. So, I mean, I don't mind. Nothing interesting is happening, and to be fair, engaging with audience has got to improve things, so it's all good. But it's just it's the interesting sort of start of race phase at this point, where we're basically working out that we don't actually have a chance of getting above where we currently are. So we're hoping for 5th, 6th. Because Gasly's too slow. Hamilton's not with Gasly, so we're ahead of those two. We just need to stretch that gap a little bit more. Go on to fast tyres in a moment. Hope we're still reasonably quick. And yeah. See where it goes from there. And again, try and save fuel with Magnussen. Downside is this brings Bottas back into range, which we don't want, but equally, we can't afford to run out of fuel. Alright, second DRS straight. Are we going to get past him? Looks like we might. There we go.
Haas with an overtake there.
Oh yeah, I do actually. Although I consider that more creature removal, but I mean, anything removal is always a good thing. Alright, so about 10 laps from... 7 laps rather, from strategy starting up. And since we're basically going back and forth without a lot happening, I'm kind of inclined to just move time up a bit. Mick and Bottas are probably going to swap positions back and forth, and as long as we keep half an eye on that, make sure Bottas doesn't get away from us, we should be alright.
Is that a new race position for Haas?
It is! But yeah, we're nowhere near matching the other teams at this point. Alright, pit window open, entered for Magnussen, so we can pit in about 3 laps time. We could even pit kinda now, but that'd be a bit questionable. Well, let's just get clear past us there. Jeez. Okay, let's deploy, because we need to get back within a second before this lap ends. And have done, so that should be alright. Okay, so both drivers in their pit windows. I wonder if we do pit Magnussen here. Just pit him early. Other drivers are kind of in already, so is this making a gap? Where would we end up?
Haas with an overtake.
Actually, what's the tyre loss around here? 22 seconds. So that will put us up behind Alonso. I think we're going to go aggressive on the tyres and...
Okay, Kev, no management required, so push as much as you can. Copy that.
Yeah, let's just start pushing a bit more and then we'll go on our pit window laps. Hopefully pulling out a little bit more of a gap here. Alright, pit options. In for hards.
Box, box. Box, box.
So Alonso's pitted as well, so that's a nice gap actually that we're kind of falling into naturally here behind Ricciardo. So we can go to our full racing speed without too much to worry about here. Schumacher is actually going to be around the same position. Yeah, it's fallen behind Bottas, but that's not too much of a problem. One more lap before we pit.
Alfa Romeo just moved up a place.
I guess the only problem with pitting early is if there's a safety car, they use less time in the pits than we do. But it's what we're going to do. We'll be on fresher rather faster, so hopefully we'll have that slight speed advantage as we do. And also we want to stop the rest of the race, so there is that as well. Alright, in we go. Pit options, hards.
We are boxing. Copy for box.
Okay. Pit stop of 3.6, and we are out ahead of Tsunoda. That was kind of important, actually. In fact, deploy here. We can't afford to lose a position or fight for one, really. Okay, so that's not too bad. And as long as we pull out enough of a gap to Ricciardo that he's not going to be bothering us, this should be pretty good. Alright, no worries. Probably will be. I'm not sure if I'm doing 2 races today or 1, but we'll see. Alright, Schumacher, DRS into the pit lane right behind him. So, both in and out in the same lap. Who's got the better pit crew? And I've got a weird feeling it's going to be Bottas. What do you know? It was. Okay, do a little bit of deployment because we don't want to lose ground to Bottas here if we can avoid it. Get within the second, and then at least he's not moving away from us. There we go.
No DRS. Copy.
Okay, this should be fine, and then of course we got the DRS straight to hopefully manage things, although... No, okay, he's managing it, that's fine. Right, meanwhile, Magnussen then. Where are we? Not very far into things. Alright, let's start conserving on both and harvesting on both here. We might lose a little bit of ground, but I think this might be okay. Schumacher's right behind Bottas anyway, so hopefully he'll be naturally conserving a little bit from that. Tsunoda has gone on to hards. No, Tsunoda's on mediums from the start of the race. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that was confusing because otherwise he would have been up with us. So the one question I suppose is, can Schumacher conserve fuel and battery and stay within a second? And currently the answer is no. And we don't want the answer to be no, because that just means he's going to slowly lose ground as time goes on. But equally we need the batteries in, so Magnussen's not losing any time to anybody particularly. Hamilton's up the road but hasn't stopped. Zhou is up the road but hasn't stopped. And Perez is probably not going to be the person we're actually fighting here, so... Okay, both of these are about to normal, so that's fine. Let's go. Schumacher can push a little bit more just because we need to get him in range of Tsunoda rather than Bottas now. Okay, leaders are pitting. Probably not able to go onto mediums here unless they're being very aggressive on their strategy, but let's have a look at what they do. Hamilton and Zhou in the pits as well, so this should be us just picking things up. This might even be, yeah, Tsunoda into the pits, but we get our DRS, I think, or at least we should. And it's just a case of can we close up on Bottas and get that 6th position, which we're ultimately fighting for here. Fortunately, it looks like Bottas has got the pace to stay ahead of us right at the moment, so I think we're just conserving. And Magnussen, we're just trying to keep that 6 seconds-ish buffer. That's definitely gone up from the initial phase, but still. Just keep that buffer if we can and build things up. Both drivers harvesting. So we're 13 seconds down. Bottas is 5. Once we see that go to 5 again, we'll have Magnussen stop harvesting and start doing actual race laps. But for right now, it's not the end of the world for that. Gasly's catching us a little bit, so let's go back to medium normal. And that's below 5 seconds now, so medium normal. Okay, so we're into a bit of a slow phase now while we wait for things to happen. Gasly might be closing in on Schumacher, which we don't approve of. We don't approve of that at all. And we're losing ground to Bottas at a rate of knots. So let's start deploying, see if we can push a bit of a gap here. .5. 3 seconds. Yeah, so we can close on Bottas a bit, but I'm more just concerned about keeping Gasly behind us.
Oh, we've had a spin.
Tsunoda spins. Okay, well, Tsunoda wasn't... Well, might have been in the hunt somewhere, but not at the moment. Okay, so Bottas is 6.4 and slowing. Fastest lap for Magnussen. I wasn't really trying, but okay. And Schumacher is 3 seconds ahead of Gasly. So we can conserve a bit of fuel and wait for that to be 2.5 again, then restart. Yeah, a little bit of fuel management, but that's all I really need to do for this race at the moment. Below 5. Okay. Competitor crash. What has happened? Is this going to affect anything? Because if this is a flag...
Sounds like a single car.
PSC safety car? No. Okay. Because that would be the right time for it, in truth, because then we can go on to mediums. And hopefully have faster tyres for the rest of it. No one's rammed into us. Nope, we're just staying in our own sort of private race with Bottas, actually, as it turns out. Gasly kind of is involved, I suppose, but, you know. It's, yeah, it's a quiet, dull, private race right now. Well, we just played chicken with Gasly in terms of us trying to conserve battery and time, although I've kind of lost this battle, I think, the way this is going. Maybe go a little more aggressive here, because you do not want Gasly within range. 1.4. Yeah, we do not want Gasly within range. We want to keep the 7th position, for obvious reasons. Well, we can go a little bit harder with Schumacher because his tyres are 1 lap newer, but we do need the fuel to get to the end, and we do seem to be having some difficulties keeping at 0, so... Back up to 2 seconds. Okay. So maybe Gasly was just pushing for a couple of laps, got himself reasonably close. We're going to start conserving fuel again. And just keep an eye on that. If it gets back below 2 seconds, we'll stop. No, I think we got the measure of this. So 0.8. Magnussen, we're going to start deploying and conserving because we need to do some balancing here. Well, this is within 5 seconds, but again, that's because we've been conserving fuel for a little bit. And a push lap, and it immediately jumps back up to 5.5. Unfortunately, we now no longer have any spare battery, but hey. Also, lap traffic everywhere. Russell into the pits. Was Russell on the hard tyres to start with, or is this just the second stop? Oh, he's gone on to softs for the end of the race. Okay, interesting. We don't really have a gap to do that, in truth, but it's interesting nonetheless. Also, probably means we can be a little more aggressive on Magnus's tyres because we're above the curve. We're definitely going to last, so yeah, let's make sure we are definitely staying in our current positions. Schumacher's 10 seconds behind Bottas, unfortunately, so no chance of improving the position. But if we go aggressive, we can be a little more conservative on fuel, not lose as much time, and definitely make it to the end. 2.6. Magnussen. What did you do? 3.6. Oh, he didn't lose too much time, thankfully, but that's not what we want to hear. Tyres slightly overheating. Got it. So can't keep that up for long. Tyres are still 58, so they're still fine. Don't scare me like that, sir. This is a good points haul. We do not want to lose this to Bottas. 10 laps to go. 3.0. So let's actually go back to neutral. So double neutral. Are we going to keep that 2.9 seconds? Oh, I guess he's actually overtaken.
That's a position gained for AlphaTauri.
Which one are you spun again? Because Mick was comfortable, and now he's just behind. Oh, you can be a bit more aggressive. I assume he's just gone full deploy or something, because he's just blasted past us and brought up 2 seconds. Well, battle is on. Obviously want to push. Magnussen stabilized, 3.5. So let's go aggressive again. Probably risking things a bit much, but you know. Alright, Schumacher in DRS range. Let's see if we can hold that. Not at the moment. Alright, we'll give it a lap or two of harvest and then we'll make our full assault on getting the 7th position back. And Magson's just clear of Bottas again, so let's do the same with you. Okay, 1.6. If it gets to 1.8 again, we'll have to go back to neutral. Okay, we need to get closer and have battery in reserve. No, okay, we'll give it another full lap. Let's just. It might not be possible for us to catch Gasly, you know. Okay, 2.5 is the gap. And he's managing that. Okay. Neutral. Let's see if Schumacher has anything in the tank to be able to chase this down. Let's go deploy. We have plus 0.3 and we have 1.5 laps to go. Need to be very careful about this though, because this could easily disappear on us. What's the gap? 2 seconds. 1.9, 1.8. We need to be within a second or we're not going to have a shot at this. So let's go full attack here. Not now, I'm thinking next lap really, but still. .7. So basically we're going to have this lap to get to the 0.7. We've got a crash on the track. Is that F1 that's going to affect us? Probably not. Maybe.
There's been a crash.
Ricardo. Alright, deploy full send. Alright, come on, Shimi. 1.4. If he's within a second on the final straight, that will be enough to have a go. 1.1. Okay, he's got a shot. Out of DRS. Oh, no, he's not going to have a shot. He's going to be out of DRS range just. 1.4. Darn it. And then no additional power down here. If I'd have paid more attention, I might have been able to stop that happening. Gasly just got past us and blasted away.
Can you go mode slow, please?
Oh, that's depressing. But still, we get 4 points. It's another double points finish, so can't be upset at that.
Checkered flag.
Can't be too upset at that, I should say.
Yeah, car was great. Thank you. Race complete. Over and out.
Well, we've had a race. It suited us reasonably well, and we matched our Monaco performance to us. Well, actually, we improved on our Monaco performance. We finished 5th and 9th then. We got 5th and 8th this time. So, Schumacher gaining 4 points, moves into 12th. Magnussen gains a position above Fernando Alonso now. And if we look at the constructors, we have moved up to 5th. Point haul and a development point for Shimi. Nothing Fittipaldi at this point. And yay, 2.9 million worth of bonuses. So let's go and put some points in. So let's go for cornering. And we will put an additional point into braking. So again, these are sort of the speed related ones, so we're going to go for some more speed. Though the improvements are obviously quite slow. Exceeding expectations, we are aware. Both our projects finish in 4 and 5 days. Unfortunately, the Canadian Grand Prix is in 4 days, so we don't have a long time to wait on things. Am I going to do this today, or am I going to do this tomorrow? I don't know, actually. Doesn't feel like it's going to be a circuit that suits us based on that. New chassis is complete. So, huzzah. Can we manufacture 2 of these now? Install on car 1, install on car 2. Alright, so what's our actual improvement from this? It is pretty small in terms of all the speed things. Yeah, I think the chassis one, if I remember, was the one that we basically had no aero time on. We just made the improvements. So, okay. A very slight increase here. Car analysis. So, where are we sitting at the moment? We are very slightly below the grid average in terms of acceleration and that. We obviously have a big lead in low speed cornering. We have a reasonable speed in mid speed cornering. Acceleration in under DRS is about the same. Our ultimate DRS pace is a bit low. And we're pretty good in dirtier and have better engine cooling than most of the grid. Not that we put anything into doing that. I'm actually going to call the stream here. I'll probably do another one tomorrow because I've got another work session to do, so I might need to pick me up after that. Probably around the same time. If so, I will catch you all then. Thanks for joining me, those who have. I will see you later.